Hey guys, what's going on? This is Apple Investigator here, and in this video we are going to be unboxing not one, not two, but all three variants of the color options for the iPhone 6 Plus. This is Apple's newly released flagship smartphone. This is the larger 5.5-inch version. It also comes in a smaller 4.7-inch variant, and both of these are substantial screen size upgrades from the previous generation iPhone 5S. Not only are they substantial screen size upgrades, they are also very different in design. They take in the design of the iPod Touch 5th generation with a much more rounded, smoothed off curvature, and we see less of the jaggedy edges and chamfered cut lines and stuff like that. Without further ado, let's get started with this unboxing. Now we can see on the side of the box that there is a color-coded Apple logo and typography that essentially matches the color of the device that you choose to pick up. Now on the front of the box we can see that Apple has gone with a much more minimalist silhouette style design here. It doesn't really show any box artwork that is in color form. We basically just see an outline of the device. Now we happen to pick up the 128GB Space Gray model. We also picked up the 64GB Silver model and a 128GB Gold model. Now I myself will be using the 128GB Space Gray. I really like the black front, and I think that the back of it looks pretty sleek in the Space Gray color. Now if we do take a look at the back of the box, we just see the normal stuff here, basic information about the device and what is contained in the box. If we start slicing into the packaging here, we can see that the shrink wrap is going to now come off. Now taking a first-hand glance, we can see the 5.5-inch display here on the Gold model. It is very large. We can also now remove the other lids from the other boxes. Now inside we see that we have the silver iPhone here. We also see finally that we have the Space Gray variety. Now the silver and the gold have the white front, while the Space Gray is the only model to sport the black front. Now we can see the three models here. You can probably already see the difference in design change that Apple has incorporated within the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. But in general, I really like what we're looking at here. And although 5.5-inch seems to be quite large in the hand, it actually feels pretty good, and I think I'll be able to get used to it. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Now we can remove each of the devices from the box here. There's just a little tab that needs to be pulled up, and after that we will pretty well be rolling into the rest of the accessories that are contained inside the box. Now if we lift up the little tab here, we can see we have some information contained within this package. Now if we take a closer look at that, we can see that first of all we have our just a little cover where the device sits in. Opening this up, we have our SIM eject tool, which can be very useful when you need to swap your SIM cards. Typical stuff like Apple stickers. And then I also see that we have a lot of paperwork this year. We see that we have a device map here that just shows all the buttons and ports and stuff like that, and then a lot of junk that you won't actually need to look at anytime while owning this device. We see that we have a fresh pair of ear pods wrapped up nicely inside of its travel case. I think nobody really uses that thing, but they put it in there anyways for a nice packaging. We see that we have our power USB to wall charger here. This is just the prongs that go into the wall. This is the North American version. We also see that we have our USB to Lightning cable for syncing and charging the device with Lightning out one end and USB out the other. We can also see here that the design here, like I've said before, is very rounded off. We can see that the buttons are actually a much different shape than the previous generation, in more of a pill-shaped design. We can also see that the back camera sports a protruding camera ring, as well as a True Tone LED flash that has been moved to the circular form. On the bottom we see that we have our Lightning port, our headphone jack, as well as our speaker, and that the power/lock switch has been moved to the right hand side of the device just to compensate for the size. Now removing the plastic wrapping from here, the Space Gray iPhone 6, we can see that we are dealing with a very large display, but as you can see in my hand, it actually fits relatively well. We can see that the Touch ID button here is looking very shiny in the light. I have to say, after just a little bit of use, the Touch ID is much improved with better recognition and stuff like that. This camera also sports optical image stabilization, and in my first impressions, I'm really liking what I'm seeing here with the iPhone 6 Plus.